Well, how many of you had apocalyptic ice storm on your 2025 bingo card? I know I didn't. It wasn't really the plan. In fact, we had a plan. I was going to preach on the last Sunday. The elders were going to come pray for us, and it would have been a chance to say goodbye to everybody. I had this great sermon written. Imagine it's the best sermon that I ever wrote, and you're not going to get to hear it. No, it was just kind of crazy that the Sunday before Carrie and I leave to go walk 500 miles on the Appalachian Trail, I was supposed to preach on Jesus Walked. I mean, talk about an incredible coincidence. I also wanted to address the fact there are some rumors floating around. I know some of you know that I don't really like to be the center of attention, and I know that some of you know that I don't really like goodbyes. So there have been some rumors floating around that I orchestrated this ice storm in order to get out of that. That is not true. I did not orchestrate the ice storm. It's not my fault. Definitely don't tell your insurance companies that it was my fault. But I also didn't want to leave without saying a few final words to the Vox community. You know, in the summer of 2008, our U-Haul pulled into Barrie with the Barnes family on board to begin pastoring this little church that would eventually become Vox. I never would have guessed that this is where we would be all these years later. And I didn't know how many incredible friendships and relationships I was going to develop over the years. I didn't know how many people would find a safe place at Vox to wrestle with their faith, to wrestle with their understanding of God, and to wrestle with their doubts. And the truth is, I didn't know that I was going to find a safe place at Vox to wrestle with those same things as I went through my own deconstruction and reconstruction of faith. I didn't know the hardships that were about to come our way. I didn't know that Tim was going to have this crazy idea to start this thing called Redwood, and that we were going to get to be a part of helping to start that. And I had no idea how hard and how difficult and how frustrating that was going to be. I didn't know that we would get to be a part of something like the Good Table, this new association of churches that we're a part of that is helping to create a safe place for people wrestling with faith, but also for our LGBTQ plus community friends as well. In short, I had no idea for what God was going to do in and through us over those last 17 years. But I am grateful that I got to be a part of it. I am grateful for the chapter of my life that has been the Vox community. I am grateful for what God has taught me, for what God has showed me over the last 17 years through this community. I'm grateful for all those people who have found a safe place here. I'm grateful for all those who have found community here. And I am grateful for the love and the friendship and the relationships that I have got to experience being a part of this church family. I wouldn't trade the last 17 years of my life for anything. And for that, I want to say thank you. Thank you for your part in all of that. Thank you for showing up when it got hard, when it was difficult, when we didn't know if we were going to be able to keep going. You showed up. Thank you for your generosity in supporting this little church. Thank you for the words of encouragement when I needed them. Thank you for the sobering words when I needed them. And thank you for sometimes the words of conviction when I needed to smarten up a little bit. Thank you for deciding to follow Jesus even when it looked scary. Even when it meant that it felt like we were going against a lot of the evangelical community. Thank you for doing that. And thank you for believing that the gospel means that everybody deserves a seat at the table. From the rich to the poor, from the strong to the powerless, from those who are in the seat of power to those who are on the margins, everybody deserves a seat at the table. That's what the gospel message is. And thank you for living that and for believing it. And especially thank you for letting my family be a part of your lives. And so now it's time for the next chapter. For Carrie and I, that means that we are going to head out on a one-year adventure to see what God has in store for us next. We're going to do a lot of walking. starting with 500 miles on the Appalachian Trail. We're going to do a lot of driving. And we're going to do a lot of praying. And we are going to miss all of you terribly. And we will definitely be dropping in from time to time to watch the live stream and say hi to everybody. Well, at least whenever we have a decent enough Wi-Fi signal in the middle of nowhere, we'll be doing that. We don't know what the next chapter for us is yet, but we are trusting God to lead us and to show us what that looks like. And we know that it's also time for Vox's next chapter. I know that God is not done with Vox yet. Heather and Roy have been doing a great job leading this church over the past year. And I know that they and the elders are starting to get a sense of where God is leading them, what the next steps are as they pray through that. But I also know that so many of you have been stepping up. I know that you've been talking to Roy, talking to Heather about how can you get involved, how can you help out, how can you offer your services to the Vox community to see it continue to grow and to develop and to continue to make an impact on the city of Barrie. Thank you for that. I know some of you have been stepping up to help out with worship, been stepping up to help out with setup or with hospitality, the things that help make Sunday go. And so thank you so much for that. And I trust that you're going to continue to step up in other ways that we haven't even thought about yet. Other ways where God has already strategically put people within this community to help make a difference for Vox. You are what has always made Vox special. Vox has always been about the people. It has always been about the community. It is the secret power of Vox has always been community, relationships, and the connection between each of us. That's what's made this place special. So if I can leave you with any closing words for Vox, it's that. Lean in to community. Lean in to relationships. Lean into connection between each other. Our world is pulling further and further apart. As a society, we are isolating ourselves more and more and more. Make this community. Make community a priority in your lives. Put your time and your energy and your commitment into developing the bonds and the friendships and the relationships that exist within Vox. You have the opportunity to be an example to the world around you in this way. It's like Jesus said, love each other. Just as Jesus loved us, you also have to love each other. This is how everyone will know that you are Jesus' disciples, when you love each other. It's what the world will see. Thank you, Vox, for all that you have been in my life, for all that you have meant to us over the years. Thank you. And know that Carrie and I will be praying for all of you in this next chapter of Vox's life and journey. God bless.